Betty, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
They're recording now, and I'm gonna go into a very basic intro. Hello, welcome to Zedos gang. How are you? You good? Good. This is 144 episode 144. I'm very low energy today. It's the end of August. We don't get a great summer. It's the dreary walk to the fall, as you guys in America will call it, or the winter here, as it's supposed to be called, and or autumn, as it's supposed to be called. Yeah, that's about it. Welcome back, guys. Good times.
Yeah.
Sat, you cool?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Neil, you good?
Always.
Okay, let's start this Mudger Fudger. Okay, first of the trailers is the Eternals trailer 2, and I will let you talk about that at your leisure, because I don't really have that much to say about the Eternals just yet. What did you guys think of this trailer, the second trailer?
Well, what did you think about it, Joe? Did you like it? You're not too fussed?
I felt like it's deja vu.
Fair enough.
Do you think if it wasn't a Marvel film, you'd feel a stronger thing to it, one way or the other?
Maybe. I'm a little bit not disillusioned. I don't really care about this. I don't know enough about them to care about them. I know that there's other Marvel stories that I'm more interested in now, and that's the multiverse story, the Doctor Strange and Spider-Man story. I'm more interested in that. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the Eternals. They can be as eternal all night long, and not doing anything. I'm probably wrong about it. I'm being very cynical because I'm old, and with age, you've seen a lot by the time you get to a particular age, and you've absorbed a lot. And this, to me, there's nothing about all Marvel trailers are very formulaic, and I there's nothing to be. It didn't excite me in the way that other films have. Film trailers have excited me. It feels very formulaic. It's shot very well. I like who's in it for the most part, but they need to make. I just need to care now. It's the same way I feel about Shang-Chi. Nothing was shown in those trailers that makes me give a fuck. So yeah, maybe I've said too much now, but that's my 2 cents about the second. It's a definitely better trailer than the first one, because the first one I really didn't give a fuck. This one is like, oh, okay, yeah. I'll watch it, but I don't care, but I'll watch it. I'm because I'm invested in the universe now. Yeah. Anyway, what did you guys think? Jack? Yeah.
Oh, you're waiting for me? Okay, sure. Yeah, I equally didn't care much for the first trailer. I thought it was a piece of shit. However, this trailer really intrigued me. This should have been the first trailer. It gave me enough to go, okay, that's their deal. That's why they went there from Infinity War and stuff. Let's go. And we got a little insight into each one of the characters, which we didn't in the last one. I really thought it was a solid trailer. Didn't give too much of the game away. Again, like I'm with Joe, where I don't really know much about the Eternals. Why should I care? I wouldn't say it was like a AAA mind-blowing trailer, but it was good enough. You know, it did the job. It did the job well for a teaser trailer. Well, it was good for a teaser trailer. For that second trailer, probably not. But you know, it's made me want to see it more, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you make now? What do you make of it?
I liked the second trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it a lot. Everyone's kind of right on the money. It is a far better trailer than the first one. I think it's why I asked you about if it wasn't the MCU, would you feel different?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like for the first trailer, if it didn't have MCU on it, if it was nothing to do with the MCU, I'd be more interested in it from the first trailer. But because it's part of the MCU, I'm sort of like, you have a bar to meet, and that trailer did not bring me to that. Yeah. But the second trailer is like, yep, this is MCU. You're gonna like it. You're gonna watch it. That's what I felt from the second trailer. But
yeah.
I don't really have issues. I think the only thing I would have preferred is probably not to have been told or to have seen the quote unquote bad guy. Right. Because there's a little snippet where you see the bad guy, and I was like, I'd prefer to not see it because it kind of left from the first trailer and from all the posters and stuff, I felt like there's a possibility that one of them could be a bad guy, that one of them may have gone rogue.
Right.
But now it's like I have confirmation and that's not the case. And I'm like,
it leaves no mystery.
You know, yeah, leave me with a little bit of mystery, you know?
Yeah, I feel that as well. It's if you're gonna do that, leave some. I mean, it's a bad comparison, but even the Matrix trailers left mystery. They showed you enough without giving too much away. But yeah, I don't know. I'm comparing the wrong types of trailers here, but yeah. Satch, what did you make of it? You already said, sorry.
Yeah.
That's how much of a time warp that trailer is. I don't want to waste any more time on this. I think there's good up until after Shang-Chi's release. I reckon they're gonna ramp up their marketing, and we'll see more bits and pieces of it. Maybe character studies. I know we. I think we will. I think we.
Well.
Go on.
Well, the reason I don't think they will, even though yes, it's a Marvel film, it's an MCU film, you know, it's got the power of Disney behind it. They will market it. They will do that. I feel like they're not gonna push it as strong as they need to, because they've pretty much, as we will discuss later, they've pretty much got like a set home run with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So you got to take into consider that Disney have no say on how the marketing of Spider-Man goes. That's solely done through Sony. As one of their own products for a theatrical release, because is this getting the same day as Disney Plus, or is it going into theaters? Well, no. Then there will be a major push coming closer to the release. Then that's kind of standard etiquette with any film.
No, but the day-and-day release thing has been shifted. I think it's something like 12 days or something now. Whereas it was 2 days before.
I think it's 40 days now. With their
40 days.
I think these releases now, it's going to be 40 days, like 2 months.
Yeah,
and then it'll be on Disney Plus.
Okay, well then, yeah, go for it. But the reason I was like, even with that,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, even with the thing of like Spider-Man being essentially Sony's play toy, it's like that trailer broke records.
Yeah.
And I think like this is gonna sound horrible when I say it, but I don't mean it in a horrible way at all. But I feel like they didn't need to market. They did, but they didn't need to market Black Panther as they didn't really need to market Black Panther because everyone knew it's Black Panther, then it's Infinity War. So people would go and see. There was a pools of people who went to see Black Panther just because they knew what was coming next, and they were like, "I want to make sure I'm up to date." And I feel like with Spider-Man, even though it's like the Eternals and Shang-Chi, essentially they have nothing to do with Spider-Man in as much as we don't really believe that there's going to be a direct through line to it. There's a thing of, it's like, that Spider-Man is coming, and that Spider-Man has already broken, records of how many times people have watched the trailer. So I was like, it's sort of like Disney can be, not necessarily that it will be, but they can very much be like, you're gonna go watch our product because you want to see this, because you want to make sure you're on par with that, so you'll watch this.
Yeah, you're probably right, man. But look, I think time will tell with this one. On the lead up to it, especially after Shang-Chi is released on Friday. It'd be interesting to see what the lead up is. Anyway, moving on. The next trailer is Cry Macho. I've not seen this trailer, so I'm going to let you guys talk about it. What did you make of it?
It's a solid Clint Eastwood trailer.
I have seen this trailer.
Feel like,
actually, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's you guys may not feel the same way, but I think with me, when I know Clint Eastwood's making a film, I kind of feel the same with Ben Affleck. When he's directing a film, I'm like, there is a more than likely chance this film is going to be really good. There's more than likely chance I'm going to enjoy this film. So I watch this trailer just to familiarize myself with the fact that the film's coming, not necessarily for like story beats or anything. So it's like, with this trailer, I mean, it did kind of feel like Gran Torino.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It felt very Gran Torino-esque, and I'm like, Gran Torino is one of the most amazing films that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. I mean, it's Clint Eastwood never usually drops the ball with films. He's usually very good at crafting that, even if it's a story that not a story that you've heard before, but a story that's familiar. He's good at crafting the character. He makes you care about the characters around it. Even if you don't care about them at first, by the end of the film, you care about the people you're supposed to care about. And I like that about Mr. Clint. He's very good at it. He's very good at that. As you said, the film does feel very Gran Torino. I'm guessing because this will probably be one of the last films you see him in. Touch wood, in front of the camera. Well, I don't know. Like, him and Chuck Norris look like the Grim Reaper's afraid to go to knock on their door.
So, just said it in such a what's the word to put it, grim.
Like death darkening that doorstep. It's like when that door opens, you run, you can fall. Run as fast as you can for as long as you can. But it looks like a good movie. It looks like an Oscar contender. Could be, or Golden Globe. I mean, what does Golden Globes mean anymore? But or ever did. I mean, it's a precursor to the Oscars. That's all the Golden Globes meant for me, man. Whenever you used to come and say, okay, well, this is the show before the show. So, was it like the opening act?
Yeah. It was the even the BAFTAs, the British BAFTAs are forced to be reckoned with now, because that show just gets bigger and bigger every year. So it's nearly on par with the Oscars in terms of importance now. But anyway, yeah, it looks good to me. Satch, what do you make?
Yeah, this is actually a film that's kind of been on and off my radar for a while, mainly because of like movie news and stuff. About 20 years ago, Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be in this movie.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him in it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Schwarzenegger vehicle, but then he decided to become governor of California, so this kind of went off the way, off the wayside. When Schwarzenegger came back to movies, this was going to get greenlit and pushed straight away, but then, he started doing other films instead. And originally, the novel came out in 1975, and very quickly they wrote the film script with Clint Eastwood in mind back then, and Eastwood has been attached to it on and off for years. At one point, Pierce Brosnan was attached to it in the 90s, but yeah, it would always come back to Eastwood basically. So yeah, strange turn of events. Eastwood's now back in the saddle, and looks like it's going to be his last hurrah doing this film. But hopefully not. Maybe we'll see him show up in other stuff. I doubt it, but he only ever seems to act in his own, in his own films rather than other people's. So, but I am surprised that he's the lead for this. Decided to put himself as the lead, but it's always good to have him back. You know what I mean? It's like whenever you get one of these old legendary actors back, like a Jack Nicholson or a Clint Eastwood, it's like, well, of course you want to see him back. You know what I mean? If they can, do it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I've always solid trailer. I can't wait to see what he does. And yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well,
is it weird that since you told me that Schwarzenegger was like one of the guys, in line for this, that I feel like it would have been the perfect film if it was Schwarzenegger as the lead role, but directed by Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That would have been. I think that would have been a real. That would have been really cool. I reckon for Arnold anyway. Because
that was his Oscar nomination right there.
But yeah, I know, man. I know what Arnold's doing next, but I hope to see him pop up in like more stuff. To be honest, he's kind of laid low since the last Terminator film, so we'll see, man.
Well, yeah.
Unless the rumor is true and he is in all of the 800 Avatar films that James Cameron's doing. So
you don't ever count out James Cameron. I'm just saying it's bad for business. It's just bad for business. I'm gonna
Terminator Dark Fate may not necessarily agree with you.
Sure.
Like I like the film, but there are I'm in a small number.
Yeah. I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but yeah, let's leave it there. Okay, the next trailer is The Guilty.
No, we were scrapping that.
Okay. He's all that.
I'll let Neil go first.
You know what? It's funny, right? Even though we're scrapping it, I watched the 2 trailers to do with The Guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I had something ready for it, but he's all that. Fuck me. All right. So I remember watching She's All That because I think I watched it with my cousin when it came out, like on DVD. It was like the early days of DVD, so you'd watch like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was your typical teen chick movie,
mm-hmm.
And it did what it needed to do. It worked where it needed to work. It found its audience, and its audience were happy.
Mm-hmm.
And they it. How can I put it? It feels like the Karate Kid, Jaden Smith.
Right.
That's what this movie feels like, right? Is like if you watch the original, you're gonna be like, why? But I watched the trailer, and I have to say, like, I must give it its good points, because there must be good and bad points to everything. And the good points were they seemingly updated it well, because how can I put it? Even back when the first film came out, there was a very strict line of high school. I don't know. There was like a very, very kind of like, there was in American high schools, there was a very specific like hierarchy. There was a very hierarchy. You know, you had your nerds, you had your goths, you had or emos rather, you had your athletes, your jocks, you had your popular kids. You know, you had your groups, and the way that they blended it with the I think what's her name, Rachel Lee Cook, the way that they used her, and they were like, you fit into this group, you're the outsider. But given the chance and the money or clothing or makeup, whatever, you fit here. And that kind of thing works perfectly in 2021, because, you know, it's like, how many teenagers are literally trying to be the next Kim Kardashian or the next, you know, Logan Paul or something, that they're trying to be that next face of Instagram. And, you know, I think the movie will reach its audience very easily.
Yeah,
you know, and they added the right amount of things that they needed to. So that there's a cameo from one of the Kardashians, isn't it? And they use social media as a tool to whatever. But really and truly, I think I gave the trailer a chance because it's got Robbie from Cobra Kai in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Tanner Buchanan, right? Yeah.
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 And he uses martial arts in it, so I was like, yeah, son. Yeah. I was like, you're in Cobra Kai seasons 1, 2, and 3. You got a free
well, that was kind of the hook for me. I was like, oh, it's the Cobra Kai kid. He's doing something other than Cobra Kai. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, you know what? Yeah, I always get She Saw That mixed up with Not Another Teen Movie, which is its spoof parodied version. Because I was going to say, like, where's Chris Evans? And then I was like, wait, that's not another teen movie, isn't it? It was Freddie Prinze Jr., wasn't it?
Yeah,
but, it was Freddie Prinze. So yeah. Now, you know what? The original film, that was a good time at the cinema. It was funny. It was, you know, typical coming of age kind of movie, which they don't make enough of anymore. You know what I mean? That genre is they're
all on Netflix. They're all on Netflix.
They're all on
Netflix.
Just like this movie. But I mean,
yeah.
And I think that's a shame, to be honest.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
Whatever, Joe. I do, because I want to see more stuff at the cinema. But at the same time,
do you know what?
But at the same time, you know, because this was a kind of movie where it put into like kind of rom-com, where it was pretty funny, laugh out loud shit. I remember watching this film with the cinema audience, or the original with the cinema audience, and it was a shared experience kind of thing. So this is just a dime a dozen Netflix film where like, oh, what's old? Okay, She's All That. Let's just palm it onto Netflix and just make a Netflix movie. I will agree with you. Fair enough. The high school dynamic kind of thing probably has changed, and they've kind of updated it to suit today's mold. But when I looked at the trailer,
if there are no guns or stabbings or or people shooting up the place every 10 minutes, then it's not realistic.
Yeah, well,
Well, that depends on your school district.
yeah, it does depend on your school district over there, anyway. But I mean, I just think that fuck Joe, I lost my train of thought.
You were saying about the high school dynamics.
Yeah, I just felt that this trailer probably tried a little bit too hard to try and sell what it actually was, and I was kind of like, meh. You know what I mean? Oh, it's another remake of some shit I saw 20 years ago, and with the remixed version of the song. And then, well, I guess it's got Rachel Lee Cook in there and Matthew Willard. I saw Matthew Willard show up
saw
from
him.
the original. Freddie Prinze, man. Why didn't they get Freddie Prinze? I'll tell you why he's babysitting.
He's dying to get back into this franchise. He's dying.
Well, you know what? One thing I was gonna say, right, Joe? You said that you were like, it's not a bad thing that these things are going on Netflix, but I must say, you must remember that you were spoiled, my friend. You've been spoiled.
Yes.
You grew up with John Hughes movies.
Precisely.
Right?
Yeah, which are infinitely better movies.
I'm a better man for it.
But they were infinitely better. But we have to remember that there's always one very core reason. Well, two core reasons as to why John Hughes movies are so definitively better than any kind of teen movie that will ever be produced post John Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Is one, he was just a phenomenal writer. And two, he actually went and taught in a high school to do research. So all of them films that we love, know and love now about teenagers, he went to a school and learned it.
Mm-hmm.
He watched them. Like, you know, he was friggin' David Attenborough. He was there and he was like, and here we have the teenage male. As he approaches the female. Yes. Peacocking with his Letterman jacket. But you know, we watched his films with, you know, it was like it felt realistic
for a particular lens, bottom line, do you know what this film, do you remember that episode of South Park where they go to a cinema and I don't know what they got against Rob Schneider, but Rob Schneider is a stapler. It's like this is what that represents to me. It's that kind of every other film they got later. Rob Schneider is blah 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 blah. Fuck you. Go see it. They just didn't care in the end. Just like, fuck you. This is fucking bullshit. Go watch it anyway. Fuck you. And by the end of it, there was just shit coming out of animals' asses on the screen, and that is South Park nailed it in terms of reboots or films that keep coming that are the same, that will reboots and are trying to this is what, even the poster I'm looking at it now. I
haven't seen it yet.
I want to kill myself and the person who had to make this poster, because it'll be an honor killing for him. Anyway, that's enough said about that. I'm pretty sure it's a great film. It's got 33% of Rotten Tomatoes, so it's good. It's good.
There are films that have lower.
I know. Cop Shop is the next film. Cop Shop. I didn't see this trailer, so guys, enlighten me. Enlighten me. What's Cop Shop like, trailer-wise?
Joe Carnahan directing. I'm in. I saw it. I saw the trailer before his name came on the film, and I enjoyed it, man. I think the dialogue's great. The fucking premise is cool. I'm in. I'm all up for bounty hunters and someone with a hit on their head with everyone trying to get him.
Is this is it Gerald Butler that's in jail trying to kill the other guy? Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very much on the same wavelength to Sash on this. I am sold. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, Frank Grillo, Gerard Butler, you got that's a gold medal. Mm-hmm. And like the premise is, you know, smoking aces in a jail.
Yeah.
That's a gold medal. And then just watching it unfold, and then yes, Joe Carnahan directing it. I was like, "There's a gold medal." I was like, "You going for the gold standard? You going for a podium finish?" And yeah, it was just everything about it. It looks the way you want. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it looks the way you want a medium to lower budget action film to look. Right? I don't need grand storytelling. I want action, one-liners, and comedy. And I got all of that, you know. It's, for me, the star of the show. I don't know the actor's name. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. But he's playing a hitman.
Frank Grillo.
No, not
No.
Frank Grillo. He's playing a hitman, and it's in the trailer. It's the guy when Frank Grillo says that, oh, you know, Gerard Butler's a psychopath, and he's like, I am not a psychopath, and then he pops up and he's like, see the difference? That's a psychopath.
Yeah,
that right there. He's who I want. He's going to be the star of the show, because it's like, even when it's like, oh, I think his name was Anthony in it, and what got me was he was like, I'm now going by the, you know, more formal Tony.
That's
and I'm like, yeah, he looks like he looks like he's going to be a barrel of laughs in the film.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be Jared Butler unhinged, unchained.
Yeah.
Jared Butler is allowed to let loose as and be almost Leonidas.
It's funny though, because he just, I don't know how and why. Maybe they planned it this way, but he just looks the way he did in Den of Thieves.
Yeah, he does a little bit. Yeah, I'm just looking at pictures right now. Yeah, he does a little bit. I haven't. I actually did see this trailer a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, okay, that's an interesting premise. It actually reminded me of Phone Booth for whatever reason. Purely, I think because it was in one location, and I like those location films because all you have to do now is concentrate on the story. Once you make the story interesting, it doesn't matter where the location is. You just have to just you concentrate on the characters then. So
and also, I think there is definitely a thing where in the trailers I've noticed that they've said introducing the female member of the cast. I don't know who she is, but she's like, it looks like she's the last remaining cop.
Okay.
She's the black woman.
Right. Oh.
Yes.
I can't remember what her name was.
It looks like she's basically like the Ethan Hawke in Training Day. This is her Training Day.
Right. I'm trying to remember her name. I can't find the bloody film anywhere. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, because it says in the trailer, it says, oh, Gerard Butler, Frank Grillo, this person, and it says, and introducing, and it says her name.
Well, either way, I like the premise. I like Joe Carnahan, so I hope he manages to stay calm this time around and get to release his film properly. He seems to be a guy that always has an issue with a studio or a person at a studio, and I'm fascinated. I reckon I know exactly what Joe Carnahan's like in person, and I reckon he's a little bit hot-headed and a little bit hard to talk to at times, and so therefore he gets angry if you don't understand his vision. And that
sounds like someone else.
Dude.
But then again, that person made Aliens.
James Cameron. Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've seen the video clips of him getting pissed off with people, and I'm just like, But your movie turns out great, so you got a right to be vexed.
Yeah. It's like one of those the double-edged swords. Look, your movies are great, so I will allow it.
It's like, imagine like that when I'm sure you guys have seen the making of Aliens.
Yeah. That crew did not like him.
Yeah, that's it. They might have been pissed with him, and they were like, "Oh, you American, you Canadian, coming in here to ruin, Ridley Scott's masterpiece." And then he was basically like, "Oh, fuck you, do what I tell you." Right? If you don't like it, when the tea lady comes in, you can drink the tea from your asshole.
Yeah. I love that. Saj. Sorry to break trailer talk, but you put Far From Home for the Spider-Man trailer.
Oh, I clearly didn't mean Far From Home.
Yeah, okay.
They all got home in the title. The next home.
To be honest,
movie.
I did not notice that in the notes. I saw Spider-Man, I saw Home, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to ask to make sure I knew what the actual title was called, because I put it in the Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, No Way Home.
Gotcha. Okay, so the next trailer, as I did so anticlimactically, is Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'll let you guys start. What did you make of it?
Well, what did you make of it, Joe?
Yeah, why are you asking me? I asked you. Yeah. Don't ask a question with a question.
We're asking you.
I'm the host.
Have you seen it?
Say again.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I asked you first.
All right.
Well, anyone who's a long-time listener or viewer of the Zedos gang has a fairly good idea about what myself and Sash are probably going to say.
Right.
You are the anomaly, Joe.
Okay. Well, I liked it. I thought it was interesting. It didn't blow me away. But I mean, trailers don't often blow you away when you watch them at home, and that's the bad thing about them, because you don't have an audience with you. You're either watching it on your phone or you're watching it on a YouTube, where sometimes YouTube has adverts, and it's anyway. My point being is that I reckon if I saw this in the cinema, I would feel a little bit more excited about it. Watching it was home a couple of times was, this is I get where this is going. I like it. I like the whole Doctor Strange element in it, and so for me, the multiverse. I'm really interested in how they're doing the multiverse of madness and the shared universe with the crossover Spider-Man stuff. I like seeing Frank Molina at the end of it. I'm intrigued to know more.
You mean Alfred?
Alfred Molina, sorry. Frank Molina, who's that? And yeah, I've got to say I did enjoy it, and that's all it was. I didn't fall out my seat. I didn't cry. I didn't want to stab anyone. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. In fact, but that's it. It's as to the extent you can enjoy a trailer sitting at home. What about you guys? What did you make of it?
Well, I personally loved it. Mm-hmm. But that said, I have a rather large phone.
Look, the largest phone in the world can't beat a sin. There's just again, I've been spoiled because I've been brought up in a particular era where.
You see the size of my phone? You see the size of my head?
Yeah. I see it.
My shit is big, right? So watching the trailers, I was like, but I know what you mean about watching at home. But I know, I guess I feel different because I remember getting chills watching Infinity War's trailer on my phone. Like, it was literally like it dropped. I was on my work lunch break, watched it, chills. So like I do feel slightly. But again, I think as well, because I'm so heavily invested in it, that the best way I can describe it is I was disappointed with the trailer because I had so many kind of speculations and heard so many rumors and so many, this might happen, that might happen. And I'd heard so much about casting and so much about potential storylines and everything that it was like everything I saw was kind of expected or like I felt like this might happen, this might happen, this might happen. Whereas, if I had none of that, then I'd feel majorly different. So like for me, I think the best trailer that I've ever seen for any Marvel film is probably either Avengers 1 or Infinity War.
Okay.
Because those were the two that I was just like, here's a moment. This moment is going to be etched in time. And I feel like I should feel that way about No Way Home. And I loved it, but I loved it because I was like immediately trying to dissect, what does this mean? And Doctor Strange is wearing a hoodie. What does that mean? And this looks different. What does that mean? And it's like dissecting every little moment of it. So as much as I loved it, I didn't get to love it for what it is.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, there's such a big disconnect of trailers these days. But I don't know. I there's clearly going to be another one before for the next before the film comes out, and I think that would be the one the one maybe to avoid because it will give too much away.
Well, yeah, I mean we got essentially 4 months before it comes out. But in those 4 months, we have 2 other Marvel films coming out, or 2 other films connected within the realms of the MCU. I hope and pray, and I'm probably wrong because, as Sash pointed out earlier, Marvel has no say in the trailers. This is all going to be, Sony's shot at bat. But I hope there isn't another trailer. It'll be impossible because I'm like, the only film that I remember seeing that had one trailer and one trailer alone until the film came out was The Matrix.
No, right. that had
only
2.
Ever saw.
Oh, you only ever saw one. Okay. Yeah, 2. Yeah, 2.
I only ever saw one trailer until the film came out, and then I saw like 3 or 4. But I was like, if there's only this one trailer, this will probably be arguably one of the best kept secrets almost, because even though like diehard Marvel fans will probably have a very strong idea about what's going to happen, and really and truly anyone who's just an MCU fan will have a strong idea about what's going to happen. It's sort of like all you're doing is guessing. That's all you're doing is guessing. It's like the Infinity War trailer. All you're doing is guessing. You're like, you see Iron Man and the Guardians together, and you're like, how the fuck do they all end up in the same place? And it's lovely to just go in there, watch trailer, sit there and see it and be like, oh my gosh. But 4 months is so long in these times.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, so and people need to, because there's so much content now. You have to keep reminding people, hey, this is over here. Come watch this. Yeah. And
I do like the fact though. It's gonna sound bad, man, but I do like the fact that not long after the Spider-Man trailer dropped, Venom 2 gets delayed until next year. It's almost like they saw the trailer and they was like, "Hey, yo, pull it! It ain't coming out right
now." Google's telling me my network is poor.
Google's always telling me that.
I mean, do you know what my network for just streaming? It's I can't stream 1080p without it degrading. And I have quite a high bitrate internet, and yeah. Anyway, Never mind. Satch, what did you make of the trailer?
Sash.
You're on mute, Satch.
What? You're on mute.
Yeah, I really liked it. But yeah, I do think it did show a bit way too much too soon. Personally, I think they just could have concentrated on the whole everyone knowing who he is kind of thing. They didn't have to show Doctor Strange and everything straight away. Hell, they didn't even have to show Doc Ock in there. The big reveal at the end could have been Doctor Strange kind of thing. I think they could have just focused on just the whole him being Spider-Man being outed, and that would have been enough, to be quite honest, for a teaser. But it being Sony, and because of all the rumors and stuff, I think they felt they had to show people something, if that makes sense, because so the cat had been out the bag by certain actors and stuff that, oh, I'm in this, etc. So obviously, I kind of get where Sony were coming from, because if they didn't show something, you know what I mean? I think had actors have not said anything, we probably would have got a different type of trailer, I think, personally. But then, because we got the Doc Ock reveal at the end, it's made it the most talked about trailer ever made now, literally. I'm seeing like people online that don't even review or know what fucking trailers are talking about this trailer, like literally. I do mean that. There was a guy that reviews cars decided, hey, Spider-Man trailer, I'll review that. And it's like, this has nothing to do with your channel, dude, but all right, cool. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to get on the bandwagon for hits. That's what I call fantastic marketing by Sony, really. Even though I don't agree with it, it's fucking genius from a business standpoint, because everyone's talking about it. And to be quite honest, it's a huge win for Sony and Marvel here. Spoilers. If you
what's spoilers?
If you don't want to know, for people listening,
if you haven't seen the trailer, like some people have avoided it.
Not even just the trailer.
But don't listen to the show then.
Well, no, I'm just saying spoilers for people that don't want to know what happens.
We start with trailers.
Yeah, I know, but like for people tuning in that probably don't want to know any more than they do know and whatnot, I would say for the next minute or so, just skip on or just go to the next subject, because once the cat's out the bag, when I drop it,
it's better be good,
probably
man.
all we're going to talk about. But no, there has been a pitch.
And it was like the 3, 2, 1.
Spoiler begins now. Okay, so there has been a picture leak of both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on the set of this movie. I wanted to put it in our WhatsApp group just to go, see, I told you, to certain people in that WhatsApp group. But like, I couldn't do it to them. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it to them, man. But the pictures have been leaked, man.
Yeah,
and like, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing, man. They're coming. We're getting the Spider-Verse, man. So yeah. But I don't know, man. How do I feel about the whole Spider-Man thing? It's a bit weird because, like, now I'm going to talk about the movie a little bit. I just think.
Have you seen it? Have you?
No. Just overall the whole Sony fucking deal with Marvel and everything. I want to touch on this a little bit, man. I just feel that. How do I feel? But clearly, after this movie, that's it.
How do you know?
It just feels that's it.
I mean, they have. I'll just interject a little bit.
Yeah.
They have to kind of. It's like with anything. You come to the end of an arc, you kind of have to kind of wrap it up, even if it's not the end. We may not get another run with this, and they may not agree on terms next time. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I just feel that, man, it's. I'm not saying, I don't know. I just feel that Spider-Man as a series will never get like the series of films that it deserves because of this. You know what I mean? Like, I think the closest they got was with the Maguire run, with the Maguire Rami run, and that went to shit because of money, to be fair. It was a case of Sony didn't want to make it for a certain amount of money. People were getting too expensive because they were out of contracts, and they wanted to reboot it just to keep costs low and have everybody get paid up the top, basically, whatever they need to pay. That's business, unfortunately. That's show business, unfortunately. And it's the same thing here. I mean, it's the same thing here. They're out of contract. They've agreed for one more film, and he's going to show up again in other MCU stuff further down the line, but only 2 more appearances. Outside of that, in terms of the Spider-Man films, this is it. This is the huzzah, unless they renegotiate the contract moving forward. Now, I don't know whether that's going to happen, okay? But I just think it's just so short-sighted just to do it for one movie, and considering how much bank this franchise has made for them with the past 2 films, is that like Far From Home was their biggest grossing movie for the whole of Sony. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Can we interject into the next subject? Next subject's the renaming of the Spider-Man. Because both of these things are kind of interlinked. I'm moving on to into a total other thing. So give me a sec. Let me look at the notes. Okay, so basically the original name was SPUMC. Okay, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. Okay, that's what it was called, but now it's called the SSU, Sony Spider-Man Universe. Okay, the SSU is the new. Look, here's the thing: no one gives a shit about that name. It's just a Spider-Man film. You know what I mean? Just a Spider-Man film. Venom, Spider-Man film. It's all set on Spider-Man. I don't need this SSU bullshit. But anyway, point being is, this film's there to set up that. You know what I mean? And have all these spin-off of it. You know what I mean? Quite clearly, this is the origin of the Sinister Six film. You know what I mean? Quite that's going to link onto whatever bullshit Sony wants to do, which will be in another alternative universe. I'm speculating now. I speculate. I'm just like, as a Spider fan, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think, because like, it's just how they do it, I guess. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm just not excited, nor do I care. I care less about the new name than when they had the old name. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on the new name, guys?
They're both as convoluted as they could possibly be.
Yeah.
Because I think what it really boils down to is, because what is the current name? The new name is what? The Sony Spider-Man Universe.
Yes. The old name was Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters.
Right. So what they've basically done is just... Basically, they just pumped it out so that they can say, we have a universe and we've called it, and we've put our name in it. So it's the Sony Universe. That's what they've essentially done. And it's pointless, because anyone who is deeply embedded in like film knowledge isn't going to give a shit that it's Sony. They're like, look, it's Spider-Man. Like, I don't care who it belongs to, it's Spider-Man. And anyone who's just a casual viewer, they're like, Spider-Man was with the Avengers, so he's part of the MCU. They're not going to give you the time of day that it's the Sony universe. And the thing is, I think this name change does, unfortunately, I think it doesn't bode well for the Marvel, for the Disney Sony partnership, because
they clearly have big plans.
Yeah, I mean, they have big plans, but to me, the way I'm looking at it is, as you know, you're not wrong, Joe, that when you make a trilogy, you kind of do have to like cap it off, even if you're continuing. But it's sort of like everything that is being done, if you kind of read between the lines, it's sort of being done in such a way as to say this is pretty much Spider-Man's last hurrah with the MCU. Like, yes, you'll see him appear in this film or you'll see him appear in that film, but after maybe 2-3 more appearances, you're not going to see him anymore. And hell, the title is called No Way Home, right? The first of these 3 films was called Homecoming. Now, granted, yes, the film ever so slightly takes place during the homecoming dance, but really and truly, that name is to reflect it's Spider-Man coming home to Marvel. Far From Home is basically just tied to the film because he is not in New York, right? But No Way Home, that is like Marvel's way of saying, hey guys, we tried. We brought him in for a little while. We thought it was working great, but, you know, people have agendas and people have feelings. And unfortunately, I mean, I did look into it a little bit. Sony aren't as much the villains as we would like to paint them as in regards to the contract and the situation. Like, everybody's going to shit on Sony because Sony are known for making quite big mistakes with their films and franchises, and because they own the rights to Spider-Man, so it's sort of like they're the ones saying, you know, they're the angry parent taking their child away from playgroup. But, you know, as such, that business is business, and, you know, if you're not going to treat someone right in business, then you must suffer the repercussions as much as they will.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that.
But the names are stupid. The names are dumb as shit. Like, I'm sorry.
I mean,
it was the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters.
Yeah, that's the original one.
That, like, bruh, like, you know what that reminds me of? You know in Iron Man 1, where instead of saying SHIELD, they just kept saying Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Division, whatever, right? Because they kept saying that, and everybody kept saying, boy, you got to shorten that. And then they were like, okay, it's Sony Spider-Man universe. It's shortened now. And I'd be like, bro, that's still too long. And because obviously we call it the MCU, and this the DCEU, and now it's going to be the SSU.
All they had to do was
lose the U, and I'm like, you think about it, you lose the U, your universe is called the SS.
Oof.
Bruh. Like, you had a focus group where you had this one long name, dropped it, and that's what you came up with.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of the public aren't even going to see this name.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't understand why they're being so precious about it. And it's if it's all internal, then I mean, just call it the Spider-Verse. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
would have been inch perfect. That would have been inch perfect. Just call it the Spider-Verse. Yeah, you didn't have to blast your name over it. It's the Sony verse. Listen, people don't call it the Sony PlayStation. They call it the PlayStation.
You'd be surprised how many some people do call it the Sony PlayStation. Those people are special.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm like, it's just, it's like, you know what?
It's overcooking.
Like, yeah.
Overcooking. Yeah, let's. I'm pretty sure it was a big committee that loved the sound of their own voice, and said, "Yeah, we've got to call it this. We've got to make sure that it's separate from what Marvel is or what Disney is, and have Sony at top of. Sony's got to be at the top end, and every other acronym in the world has to be.
Because even that, like them dropping, like the original name had Marvel in it. And I feel like they probably feel that they feel some type of way about that. So they were like, no, it can't have Marvel in there.
Yeah, and so this is, it's just a
a messy situation. That is, you know what it is? It's divorcing parents arguing in front of their kids.
Yeah, more or less. That's quite good acronym. Yeah. Anyway, I again, I don't have much to say on it because it's a very, again, not one person that I know is gonna know that there's there's a whatever it's called verse. They're just not gonna know. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so Jesus Christ, the SS, bloody hell. In terms of what the amount of energy they're putting into it, I think it's very unnecessary. It was just very unnecessary. But hey, it's only got to do something. It's the only thing they have that makes some money. It used to be Bond, and now it's not. And I guess Ghostbusters will have a bit of a rise, considering how good people saying it is. So we'll see. Okay, next topic. Jungle Cruise 2 is a go, apparently. Wow, that's a controversial subject. I don't care about the Jungle Cruise, so I'm going to let you guys talk about it.
You know what it is?
Did you
Jungle
watch it?
Cruise. Yeah, I watched it in the cinema.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
It's, Jungle Cruise is. Jungle Cruise is this generation's Brandon Fraser's The Mummy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's absolutely that. It is literally, even like down to the aesthetics, like it's the swashbuckling American or the swashbuckling man with the British, go-getter attitude, breaking barriers woman, and her
brother,
and her very kind of dainty brother.
Ooh, my connection is really bad. Guys?
Mummy meets Pirates of the Caribbean, blended together and thrown out for you with the biggest name in Hollywood and people that you will like. Or people that maybe aren't as big a name but are enjoyable.
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise 2, I mean, it was a given because look at that. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, okay, yes, they made the first Pirates of the Caribbean film, but anybody who watched that film and thought that's going to be the only one was not paying attention.
Yeah.
And Jungle Cruise is set up for that.
I would say though, I'm going to go into some spoiler territory. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. Kids film, kids action adventure. The only problem I had with it was the dodgy CGI because it was shit. But hopefully with the sequel they'll spend a little bit more on the budget there. But my point, that being said, where do you take it? Because he's now, he's now mortal. That was kind of the thing, right? But I don't know, man. I guess different adventure, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. Every character had...
Yeah.
All of those three characters, they each had their goal, so to speak. And because they've had that goal, it's sort of like a situation of The Mummy 2. Like, you think of where The Mummy ends, you're like, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
We got The Mummy Returns, and I think it will be a very similar situation, but it will be like maybe there's another MacGuffin. There's like another MacGuffin. You've cured or you've helped with curing ailments and diseases and things of that nature. So now you can I don't know, solve world hunger, or there'll be something else to solve, another MacGuffin to find. Because now that they're human, or now that Rock is human, spoilers, my bad, sorry, whatever, right? Now that he is mortal and they can have a life together, it will be a thing of what adventure do these adventurers now go on?
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, I could see Jungle Cruise doing well. I mean, like as a franchise.
Yeah.
It just all depends what they do with the sequel. To be fair, but yeah,
But that's the thing as well.
I'd watch the second one.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah.
Well, yeah. I have no interest in watching it. None of the trailers excited me. It's
to be honest, the film is one of the rare films where the film is infinitely better than the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't make the film like a masterpiece, but the film is far more interesting than the trailer lets you see it to be, which is very difficult because you watch most trailers and then those trailers turn out to be more interesting than the film.
Do you know what? The only film that I can remember of The Rock's that I like is The Other Guys. And he's only...
He's in it for the intro.
Yeah, he's only in it for like 20 minutes. And but it's just the way his death happens. It's great. It's great. And other than that, I think the other film is The Mummy Returns. Yeah. Scorpion King is a lot to be desired, but it's possible.
That film gets a lot of hate, but I think if it wasn't connected to The Mummy, it'd be enjoyed more.
Yeah.
Because I think I enjoyed Scorpion King more than I enjoyed Jason Momoa's Conan.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've not seen that yet, so I can't comment. But I mean, it was always going to be hard to redo Conan. There's just, I mean, you're asking for trouble with that. But Jungle Cruise. I have even fake enthusiasm. I don't have any of it for it. I've got nothing for it. I don't know why I'm so cynical these days, but I just don't give a fuck about the Jungle Cruise.
You know what it is, Joe? As I said, you were spoiled. You've had so many great movies come in your lifetime, from single numbers to teens to 20s to 30s. You've had every decade. You've had at least 5 masterful films come out.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you're an adult and you can understand how films are made, how much time, effort, money, how much of an acting craft goes into things, how tough it is for a director to make a film. You know, you've seen, because you've seen the making of films, work within the industry, so you've seen so much now that you've reached that point where it's like, you need to be good, because it's like when you see a shit film, you're like, you had so many opportunities to make this good, and you, through time, through money, through pressure, chose not to.
Yeah. And it didn't help. But over the past few months, especially when I was sick, I was watching a lot of Prime Video and Prime films, or films that Amazon bought and put on there. I still haven't seen Coming to America yet.
What part 2?
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Don't watch it.
I wasn't planning to, because I just look. I managed to see the original Coming to America when it was re-released in cinemas, and I had a great time with that. I had a great time with that, and I don't see it won't hit the same way. It just won't, and
it won't. But
it doesn't look. It's what?
The worst film. It's not the worst film. But when you are linking it to the first film, it becomes a bad film, or it becomes a worse film than it really is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the best way I can describe it, Coming to America 2, or Coming to America, is it's Soccer Aid.
Soccer Aid?
Right? You know that charity event Soccer Aid?
Yeah.
Right? That charity event where you have half the team are like some of the world's best footballers of yesteryear, and then you have them side by side with like pop stars and like reality TV celebrities and stuff, and it's like there's no way in hell that Zidane is ever going to get beaten by like you know, Jamie Oliver. Like
right.
There ain't enough nutmegs in the world to let that happen. Right? But that's not saying that Jamie Oliver's a terrible football player, but he's going to look like one of the world's worst football players when Zidane is the other guy on the pitch. You know, it's like I'm fairly strong. I go to the gym, I work out, but if Arnold Schwarzenegger's in my gym, I'm gonna look like a baby Ann.
Yeah.
Was Coming to America this year? Damn, I forgot all about
January.
that.
Exactly, because it's in the ether. Once a film goes into ether, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. That's something else I'm not interested in. Resident Evil has first pictures of Resident Evil has surfaced, and they seem to have everything else right but the actors. But what the fuck do I know? I only just played the original game and played the others in succession, and they all have everyone looks the same from game to game, relatively the same. But they decided we're gonna race swap. Fuck this shit. We're gonna race swap for this guy. And one of the best characters as well, Leon S. Kennedy, and that's my rant over. What do you guys make of the pictures?
Have they race swapped Leon Kennedy?
He's not Mexican.
Was that Mexican guy?
That guy is not Caucasian. He is not Caucasian.
You know what it is for me? I remember I showed, like, you know what it is? Here's my general kind of like essay into this Resident Evil movie that's coming out, this Netflix one, right? Because people who love the games have such a visceral reaction to Paul Anderson's films. The makers of this film, I'm not going to say Netflix, but the people, the actual director, you know, costume department and that, I think they probably felt that all they had to do was make the characters look like they do in the game, and they'd basically have like a get out of jail free card, or they'd get a free pass. And I think what they're trying to do is, you know what happened when Bumblebee came out? When Bumblebee came out, all the Autobots and Decepticons you see, most of them, anyone who's an actual character looked like their character.
Yeah.
So that carried through the film. And even though, but the problem is, that film was good. And you can tell by the trailers, this was something a little different. You know, it had a little bit of Michael Bay-esque Transformers to it, but it was scaled
down. It was scaled
down, but they scaled it down and they brought in what was needed. This film, it looks like they've just shoved in what they think everyone needs and are just doing their thing. But in their defense, all I've seen is 2 still images. I could be very wrong. The film could be excellent. It could just be those 2 images make it seem like whatever. Because you know what? A behind-the-scenes image versus an image on screen, they look very different. What might look shit behind the scenes could look excellent in camera with the right lighting and the because once they're like, okay, all right, now we're darkening the tone and taking out some of the digital mastercraft that comes with high performance cameras when you take a still image. Once we remove all of that, you're going to get some atmosphere and things. Maybe it'll feel different.
Do you know what? I won't complain about the way it looks, but the way they've cast it, I mean, even Claire I don't mind about. Also, is it Jill Valentine? No, Jill Valentine. Valentine, who's standing next to Chris in the picture that I've got. And if you were to show anyone this picture that this was Resident Evil, it's like, are these guys cosplayers? And that's the first thing people will say, and that's not a bad thing, but nor is it a good thing, because it looks like some guy from Ohio not Ohio. Well, let's say a place where that has more brown-skinned people.
A place where they have more.
Yeah, let's say there's a place where they have more brown-skinned people, and he's dressed up in Leon S. Kennedy's gear. That's what this guy looks like. It's all right. You can't expect to show a picture like, know how anal some of these people fans are. You can't even I looked at it and said, I'm out, because he doesn't look like Leon, and that's when you lose me. It doesn't look like Leon, and maybe because I'm older, or again, all the last Anderson's films, they went without 3 or 4 movies without seeing anyone that we really recognized, and even then,
just one.
Yeah, and the main character had nothing to do with Resident Evil, but those films still made money. So what the fuck do I know? All I know is that Rec 1 and Rec 2 are the best Resident Evil films that there ever will be.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you think Rec 1 and Rec 2 perfectly embody Resident Evil, when you think that Rec 1 is like, Rec 2 is the strike team. Mm-hmm. So Rec 2 is basically like, almost like you could say Rec 2 is the stars going into the mansion. Mm-hmm. But Rec 1 is how it got there.
Yeah. And that's that. You can't. Those films were made around the same time Anderson was making Resident Evil, and they're far superior, and they don't have any Resident Evil characters in them. And maybe I'm too tied to the games, but if you're going to adapt something from a game, at least try and do it. Just try.
Well, that's the thing. Like you say that maybe you're too tied to the games. I think what film studios need to probably think about or embody is the fact that your first point of call is the audience that knows these things. Mm-hmm. So you look like, obviously sometimes, I mean, it's kind of easier with books, or I'm gonna say it's easier with books. You look at something like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, or even something like Twilight. It's, book readers are a visceral, reacting audience, and they're not gonna play games with you changing a whole bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they probably look. I think, do you know what it is? I think film studios in general look down on video game audiences.
Don't know why.
I think that's what it boils down to. They look down on video game audiences because they don't. I mean, I'm gonna say since maybe Spawn or maybe Blade. Let's say Blade 1, right? From Blade 1 to now, they don't look at comic books as the ugly stepchild of literature anymore. Mm-hmm. they're like, no. If we do what we're supposed to do, the fans will love it. They will embrace it. They will watch it 5 times in the cinema. They will make us billions of dollars. They will eat up everything we do. They will make everything, their curtains, their light, their bedspread, their freaking trainers, their clothing, their pajamas and underwear. Everything is going to be this character if we do it right. And I think they don't look at video games in the same light, but that's probably because video games don't really make the same level of money to their core audience that I think happens with books or with comic books even. Because yes, a single issue comic book is not going to make vast superior amounts of money, but the IP of that character will always make that level of money. That's why we have, Universal Studios has in Florida, there's Universal Studios, and then there's Universal Island of Adventure, which is a whole other park that is for the most part pretty much dedicated to Marvel. Right? Most of their roller coasters, most of their rides, they had a whole section where it's just Marvel. They had a parade, like in Disneyland where they have parades of all the characters. They have a parade of Marvel characters just bowling through, and they look the way that they did in like the 90s Spider-Man cartoon and the 90s X-Men cartoon, the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon. So they know that the IP will make that. With video games, you don't really get that, which is why arguably the most faithful adaptation of a video game is Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
If you play that game and then you watch that film, you're like, holy, this is like almost beat for beat the same thing.
I would have said Silent Hill, but yeah, I think you're right.
No, honestly, it's Mortal Kombat, because even if you think of the little nuances of Mortal Kombat, like if you played the first game, Reptile was a secret character. In the movie, Reptile pops up like a secret character.
Yeah.
The only character who is in Mortal Kombat 1 who's not in the game Mortal Kombat 1 is Katana. Everybody else is in it. And it's like, you have that, and it was masterfully done. Which is weird, because it was done by the same guy who did all of the Resident Evil films. So it's sort of like, you did this, and then you did this.
To be fair, though, Mortal Kombat's story is so linear that it's basically Enter the Dragon. So to fuck that up, you'd have to be next level kind of special, to be fair. You know what I mean? But funnily enough, they managed to do it in 2021. And I was just like, how the hell? What kind of? Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go there with that as a rant, but yeah, it just kind of meh. But yeah, my stance is on Resident Evil. I like Joe. I give no fucks. You know what I mean? I saw the pictures. I really noticed that he was Latino, etc. I just thought it was bad cosplay when I saw it. And I was like, what are they doing in the Spencer Mansion? It's Leon and Claire. They're not in there. They're clearly making up their own stuff. Or
no, I don't think they're in the mansion. I think they're not.
They're not in the mansion.
I think they're doing they're doing the story of Resident Evil 1 and 2 at the same time, because they take place at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's that, and maybe it might work out. Maybe it might work out, but I don't know, man. I
have zero interest in this film.
Yeah,
zero.
Yeah, same. But we'll see. We'll see when it comes out, and we'll chat then. But yeah.
Alrighty. Next is okay. First look at Cowboy Bebop. What did you guys make of it?
I don't know. I feel weird about it, because the characters do look fairly similar to how they're supposed to look. However, I feel like maybe they look a little too much like how they're supposed to look, which might be a negative.
Yeah, it does. It does look weird.
Because certain things work in animation.
Yeah.
That don't really work in live action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my biggest worry about this whole thing is John Cho. Can he do martial arts, and will that project well on the screen? If he can't, I haven't seen the guy work out. I haven't seen him do any training. Maybe he has. Who knows? But he's supposed to be a Jeet Kune Do expert. Jeet Kune Do, and not and specifically. So we'll see. I see the actress that played Faye Valentine got herself into a bit of hot water like a couple of days ago.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she backlashed at the fans saying that the clothing that she wears can't look exactly like they do in real life. But then a whole bunch of people started putting images up of cosplays.
Yeah.
But again, no. But you know what? I literally said it prior to it. Certain things work well in animation. You can't. I think there's a lot of costumes and things you can't hold them up.
Mm-hmm.
A cosplay to a movie, because a cosplay, you're not like, I love cosplay. I love seeing people take the time and effort to make themselves look like a character.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a cosplay and then say we're gonna have a linear story with this, right? Because like you gotta think, I think a lot of cosplayers or fans of cosplay don't think of the backlash that will come from people who are not into cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are not into that realm, that world. If you're not interested in the fact of this person making themselves look like that person,
mm-hmm.
this person making themselves look exactly like that character that you love, that you have, an affinity for.
Mm-hmm.
You just throw them up. Like, look at. Let's be real. Like, look at Scarlet Witch's costume in the comics, right? You can't have Age of Ultron, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame. You can't have her in that outfit,
mm-hmm.
right? The skin tight leotard joint. She can't rock that.
Mm-hmm.
It won't work, right? You're not gonna have the same effect. The gravity of the scenes aren't gonna look the same. That's why even now, at the end of WandaVision, when she puts on an outfit which is very much in line and resembling towards her comic costume,
mm-hmm.
it's why it even looks different. It's why she's wearing definitively black trousers with her red ensemble outfit. Because if she wore that leotard joint, it's not going to work,
mm-hmm.
right? Cyclops is a triple O gangster G, right? In his 90s blue with the yellow trim X-Men outfit.
Mm-hmm.
If it looked like that in the films, it doesn't work. Wolverine, Lord in heaven, right? You ain't never seen a man look more badass than with the yellow and brown with the claws out.
Mm-hmm.
If he looked like that in the films, it doesn't work well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you look at these things, you can't just be like, oh. So even when you say that she got herself in hot water,
mm-hmm. she should have said nothing.
Yeah, you're right. She should have said nothing. Like, this is not in a great level of defense of her.
Mm-hmm.
She should have kept her mouth shut and been like, well, sorry guys, I don't make the costume.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not wrong. And I think that's the problem, is she's not wrong. What she said.
She's not wrong.
Is accurate. You look at how many movies there are. Not everyone could look. Captain America's costume in the first Avenger, he wears the comic accurate Captain America suit. He wears it to be a parody of himself. When he goes off to fight, he looks different. There's only certain characters who get to look the way they look on the comic or the way that they look in their animated show, right? If they, trust me, they make a live action Thundercats, Chitara is not wearing that yellow one piece or that orange one piece. She's not rocking that. No matter how many geeky fans die for her to be in that, she's not rocking that outfit. Right? It's you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to what is logical, what is realistic, what can work. So, hey, but we went on a bit of a tangent. But to bring it back, I haven't seen enough episodes of Cowboy Bebop to be, a real any force in regards to whether it's going to be good or not. But looking at the images I've seen, I was like, maybe you guys look a little too much like your characters. Because if the other people in the film don't look the way that those characters look, if they look, like regular clothing kind of thing, they're going to look out of place.
Yeah, definitely. All I say to that is that the only other aspect of this that I believe is good is the composer.
You got the original composer back.
Okay.
I got Yoko Kanno. She's a big anime. To be honest, she should be bigger than she is. But she's on the level of John Williams as far as I'm concerned. But she's mainly stuck to doing stuff in Japan, and but she's very good at what she does. And the fact that they managed to get her for the series as well is the only aspect of it that I'm looking forward to be honest. I don't really care about the show because I have my issues with it, but that's neither here or there. But the fact that they got Yoko, big respect. Other than that, I don't have much more to say on it. Satch?
I'm not going to be hyped about an anime until I see a live action Afro Samurai.
And it has to be Samuel L. Jackson. You right, Satch?
I'll tell you, man, the perfect cast: Samuel L. Jackson, and then as even though Samuel L. Jackson plays both Afro and Ninja, have Eddie Griffin or Kevin Hart as Ninja.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a tough one, man. I almost don't want to see it.
Nah, I'll tell you, right? I could cast that shit right now, man. The what was it? The MT7. You have I think it's brother number 1. That's Ben Kingsley right there.
Ben Kingsley. Speaking of which, is it? Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to leave that alone.
Zach, how do you feel about Cowboy Bebop?
I have a problem with most of the costumes, to be honest. Spike Spiegel's one, it's fine. Jay Valentine's one's probably the one everyone's piping up about, but the actress looks the part. The costume isn't that dissimilar to the original costume. I think it does have lack of cleavage, but I mean, come on, man! Like, it's live action. What did you expect? It's not. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that for a Western film or Western series, regardless anyway. And even if they did, fair enough, good on them. But but then Netflix will face another kind of backlash over it. I don't think the costumes look that bad. What's it? The exception being Jet, not because of the race swap issue, but because that's probably the one where you're going, maybe that is a bit too on the nose, because obviously he has a metal arm. The metal arm just looks a little bit plain Jane for my liking compared to what it is in the show. The legs, I see they're trying to at least match the legs, but then you got to understand he doesn't have metal legs. Those are actually like boots. They probably went a bit too OTT on there, and maybe just should have just given him normal looking boots. That way he doesn't stick out anything more than he does, if that makes sense. So I think I'm not really that fussed on the look of it. If anything, I think they've got the look. They've nailed the look, personally. Do I think it'll be any good? Jerry's out. I shared the same concerns as Joe. With Spike Spiegel, he needs to be more of a martial artist. Sure, you could fake that, but and it's a bit of a big part of the character. So we'll have to see. I like John Chow. I think he's a great actor as well. He's done quite a lot of dramatic stuff in his independent films, a lot more these days than the comedy from his Harold and Kumar days. So I'm interested to see what he does with the character. But again, he was never my first pick. I've never particularly been sold. In the original anime, he was actually a Jewish guy. My first pick was always Adrian Brody. After watching him in Predators, that was kind of, he's got the look, and, just give him an afro, bang, we're done. But, my second choice was Keanu Reeves, mainly because he can fight. But we'll see, man. We'll see what the series shows. I mean, the fact they've got the original composer, that makes a big difference for me as a fan. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Again, I think it's a bit too premature to start shitting on it, even though I will be watching this very carefully, personally. But we'll have to see.
I feel like I'm gonna I have the show, I have the whole show to watch, but considering this conversation, I am going to wait until the film is done and out, and then watch the film and then watch the show.
Oh, it's a TV show, by the way.
I don't want it because I feel
it's a TV show. Yeah.
Because I feel like I will, if I watch, because I've only watched, I would say, less than 10 episodes, and I think if I watch the show properly, sit there, watch it episode to episode, I'll really dislike the film.
TV
and
show.
I hate disliking. I hate Oh, it's a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah.
No. The live action one is a TV show.
Yeah, TV show. Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Jerry.
That's all right.
I feel like I will. I feel like I will really dislike it, and I don't want to dislike stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like to like stuff. But Andrew Koji, just for the martial arts, Andrew Koji would have been my pick for Spike.
Andrew Cody.
Actually, who would have been if the guy could speak English? I don't know whether he can, but Max Zan. Is it Max Zan? Give me a sec.
Max Zan.
Am I thinking of the right guy?
Max Zan, I don't know who that is, but he's taken up airtime. Right. Anyway, you find Max Zan. I'm going to move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
So more DC films from James Gunn. I don't know if that's a question but I guess he made a good film, but it just didn't do well. So so maybe no. I don't have an opinion on this. I haven't seen Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Max Zang. He's the guy in it. He's the guy in Ip Man 3 that had the spin-off Master Z. So yeah, he'd be really good. He looks the part.
Is he Jewish?
No, he's not.
Okay.
But in terms of, if you were going to go with an Oriental guy, he would have been high up there, kind of thing, because motherfucker can fight. But whether he can speak English or not in an American accent, that's a whole other story.
Well, that's why I say.
But he does look. But he does look the part. Like, he totally 100% looks the part. But back to the next subject. What were we talking about again?
About
DC
films from James Gunn.
Hell yes. That guy got a pick of any DC character that he could pick. He chose to go with Suicide Squad because that spoke to him, and plus deep down, I think Warner Brothers wanted him to pick that as well, mainly because the first one was trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're like, "Hey, we got the guy now." I thought he did an excellent job with Suicide Squad, regardless of the box office return. It looks like DC Warner Brothers are still in the James Gunn business. Look, as long as James Gunn gets to be James Gunn on the next movie and does what he does best, cool. You know what I mean? Because that guy will research the material and actually give us a decent like ride, man. So, and he's proven his worth to me. So I can't wait to see what he picks. Knowing him, he'll probably pick something obscure so he can put his own label on it rather than retread something that's established that we're all going to be like, oh, another version of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my general thoughts with James Gunn and a DCU character. Yours, Neil?
Well, I'm like, okay, so for me, Suicide Squad was good, but it wasn't great.
Boo. But
right? Like, you know, I had my issues with it, but they're very minor, minuscule issues. In regards to James Gunn taking on more DC properties, yeah, go for it. I think he can bring a certain level of energy to a project that very few directors can. I'm like, he's in a class where really and truly his only other classmates, I think, are people like Taika Waititi, right? And I would like to see him, and like Sash said, I would like to see him with different superheroes. So maybe someone like, I mean, the first person I thought would have been Blue Beetle, but I know they're already making a Blue Beetle film with someone else. So, but like, I'd like to see him take on something like Booster Gold.
Yeah, I was going to say Booster Gold.
Yeah, because I mean, initially, like I think that maybe this is probably just like, maybe this is something like entrails coming from him doing Guardians. Is I thought, oh, you know what, he'd probably do a really good job with something like the Green Lantern Corpse. Like you give him that whole world to mess around in. So you give him all the lantern colors and say, have fun, but don't include this, or have fun, but don't show that, and everything would be great, you know, because you've got. And I mean, like, if Dave Bautista didn't turn up as a Red Lantern, like, you wasting my time. If he doesn't turn up as a Red Lantern or as Kilowog, then you're wasting a lot of my time. But yeah, like, he could do it. Give him his own pick, give him his own run. I'm sure he'd do something brilliant.
Yeah, Joe, thoughts?
What was the question? DC.
More from James Gunn.
Do you want to see more from James Gunn?
I haven't seen this film from James Gunn.
Okay, fair enough.
But would you like to see James Gunn
take on any of these DC properties?
Any DC properties?
He seems to get it, and that's more than every other director has been. I just, maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, but I don't like any of the DCU. It's too convoluted. They started off well with Man of Steel in general, but as soon as it got to Batman vs Superman, I really dropped off. I dropped off from there, and I did like what else have I watched?
Aquaman. Shazam.
No, I didn't like Aquaman. Shazam, I've not seen.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's passable.
First Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I've seen most of it. I don't like the DCU. I think maybe he's good for it because it just even from. I'm not saying he's the best for it. I think he's good for it because there's a consistency of James Gunn that I don't think the other directors have. I mean, David Ayer, I think. I can't really comment too much because I haven't seen the entire film, but I'm fascinated to see what if without the restraints on David Ayer, I would like to see what he would have done. Other than that, between the 8 million Jokers that are in this universe, I don't. I'm very disconnected from it. I don't have a want to go to it. But yeah, I think James Gunn would be good to carry on. I'd like to see what he would do next, especially to. I'd like him to do what other film could he do? I would like him to do a Green Lantern film. I think he's very immersed with I don't know what the word is, but I'd like to. If he was going to do anything else, I'd like to see him do Green Lantern. But that's it. I don't have much to say on it, guys. I'm in a bit of pain, so I'll be off for a second, okay?
Yeah, sure. Shall I carry on?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me just have a look. Okay, so next up, Nicholas Hoult is set to start in Universal's Reinfeld, a monster movie about Dracula's lackey. Okay, this movie is by Chris McKay, who did the Tomorrow War and the Lego Movie. He's directing. The script is by Robert Kirkman and Rick and Morty's Ryan Ridley. So it's got to be a comedy, right? Literally about Dracula's lackey. How do you feel about that, Neil? Since you're the monster movie guy.
You know what? It's weird because at first, when I first read what you wrote, I went, okay, it's a film about Renfield. I thought, okay, that could be interesting because it's basically almost like the story of Jonathan Harker, but it ends badly. So, like, if Jonathan Harker is Luke Skywalker, then Renfield is Anakin Skywalker. He came before and chose the dark side. I thought, okay, that could work. I was like, it'll be weird, but it could work because, Renfield does have a bit more of a part to play once they get back to England. That said, it being by, like, Robert Kirkman, is a genius, really and truly. Like, he gave us The Walking Dead and he gave us Invincible, and both of them are mind-numbingly brilliant. The Walking Dead is like, it went 11 years. It's got 11 seasons. They were on the final season now, which is season 11.
Really? It's been on for 11 seasons?
Yeah, 11 seasons. They're still making 3 movies to go on with it. It's got 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. There are, I think, about 6 or 7 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. And then there is another Walking Dead show.
Right.
Which, it's expansive, what they've done. So that all comes from what Robert Kirkman put on a page. So that there is proof of his work. And then Invincible, which is top 5 greatest comic book stories with superheroes in it. And it is nothing to do with Marvel or DC, which is phenomenal to do. So him and the guy who does Rick and Morty, and the thing is, anybody who watches Rick and Morty, you'll be able to say, like, the jokes and the humor and the level of reflectiveness on society is really sharp. So it looks like it's all in good hands. I'm trying to think, like, I'd probably be under the mindset that they're not going to set it in back, like, in, you know, when Dracula was originally set. Like, I can imagine it would be a modern update or modern retelling because of the fact that, you know, like, with those writers, what they could do in present day would be great.
Right. Okay. I don't really have any 2 cents other than it sounds okay. It sounds like it's going to be a comedy. But we'll have to see. Okay, so next up we have Megan Fox, 50 Cent, and Tony Jaa have joined the Jason Statham Expendable spin-off movie. We've got Sylvester Stallone, Lundgren, and Randy Couture set to return. How do we feel about the addition of these actors for the movie? I mean, I think, what's the movie called? Expendables.
I thought it was just Expendables 4. I'm shocked.
No, spin-off name. Let's have a look. What's it called? It is a spin-off for sure. At the moment it's called A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Because
because his character's name's Lee Christmas, isn't it?
There we go. So so A Christmas Story. So maybe it's the Expendables A Christmas Story. It's set at Christmas, have Shane Black directing it. I'm in. No, no, not for my made up movie. But no, you know what? Tony Jaa up against Jason Statham. I'm in. I'm balls deep in. To be honest, though, with Expendables, I think because the last one wasn't that great, this is probably a good way to like approach the franchise by giving all individual characters like their own kind of movie before we build up to the next one, kind of like fucking Avengers and shit. But I've always thought that the idea was always good about the Expendables. We just haven't got the perfect movie just yet. I think 2 was great. It was really entertaining and really good. But I think there could be a lot more done with these characters. We just haven't got there yet. So I'm always up for seeing another Expendables. And in terms of this standalone Jason Statham movie, sure, I'm in. I think it'll be a good time. What's your thoughts, Joe?
Expendables.
Expendables.
A Christmas Story.
So okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So yeah, we have the addition of Tony Jaa, 50 Cent, and Megan Fox joining the new spin-off movie called A Christmas Story. Stallone, Lundgren, Randy Couture set to return.
Well, my reason for wanting to watch it is for 50 Cent. Love that guy.
See, the thing is, I know you're taking a piss, but I really love 50 Cent. I'm happy to see him in the movie.
I mean, look, I am partially taking the piss, but I'm also fascinated to see what he's like with that ensemble. Because he's the odd one out to me. Because I don't think he can act. But,
what, over Megan Fox?
Yeah,
she's clearly the love interest, right?
No. She's done a lot of action films in the past year.
You know what? I saw the Megan Fox movie with her and the cougar or the tiger or the leopard or something. And you know what? Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but in a joke kind of way. And the thing was, there was bad acting in that film, but she wasn't the bad actor. She was actually like really straight, playing it straight. She was actually pretty good, but the thing is, the material that she had to work with did not make her look bad in the slightest. The only thing bad I would say about it is that she looked way too much like Reagan Fox in the movie. If they made her look more battle hardened, and that's more the makeup and the director's department, if they made her more like what a soldier should be, kind of thing, then she would have. It would have been a performance out of her, I reckon. Okay, I'm going a bit too far, but like she didn't get a dramatic moment in there, but she wasn't bad. She was very serviceable in it, and yeah, I think it made me see something different in her than I would in other films she's been in. I'm not saying she's a fantastic actress, but I gotta say she wasn't the weakest link in that movie, and there were many weak links in that movie. She was actually like okay, but in terms of her in an Expendable movie, why not? It's Expendables. It's never been about the acting. It's always been about the star power and explosions and craziness. I guess the news I really want to hear is when's Michael Bay doing one of these films, man? Because that's the only way you can top all of this shit. Get the biggest explosions in Hollywood to work with all of these guys, man. But anyway. Yeah, hang on, did you say how you felt about it, Neil, or are we done here?
I mean, what is there to feel?
No.
I'm 98% sure I'll watch it. And I'm sure that the thing is, 50 Cent as a person is very, very funny. So I feel like he'll be there sort of like the comic relief. But also because he's 50 Cent, he's gonna basically be like a smaller version of Terry Crews' character, almost like. I feel like that will be him there.
Yeah,
and he has a good working relationship with Sly Stallone because he's in like, I think
the Escape Plan.
Yeah, he's all three, and that's the thing. He's in all three of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, moving along, we got. So, Quentin Tarantino, who's on the Joe Rogan podcast, one of many things that he considered for his last movie was a remake of First Blood with Adam Driver as Rambo and what's his name? Kurt Russell as the Colonel. This is a two-part questions because there was two projects. He was looking at that and an all-black cast version of Reservoir Dogs as his final movie. He's not doing either. He's like, Reservoir Dogs should be a stage play, but he thought it'd be an interesting experiment. But how do you feel about both of those two projects?
It's weird, but neither of them appeal to me. They appeal to me because it's Tarantino.
Yeah.
But they don't appeal to me as projects because for the First Blood one, it doesn't appeal to me because I think because the book First Blood and the film First Blood are quite different.
Yeah, he was going to base it on the book.
Yeah, I think because of the nature of what is currently going on in the world, that is a bit too real. It's a bit too real for people to see. Especially, I mean, what's been going on in the news over the last week or 2 weeks. Like, that's too real. But, I mean, as a project, especially if we didn't have, Rambo 2, 3, 4, and 5, it could have worked because Adam Driver is an excellent actor, and I will always believe Kurt Russell is a grizzled military veteran, and just visualizing First Blood, the movie, and visualizing those two in those roles, they'd kill it. But even though they'd kill it, I still wouldn't want to see it. And with the all-black Reservoir Dogs, Nah, that don't work.
Fair enough.
All right, that don't work because sorry, but like I know every time this kind of subject comes up, I always beat the same drum, but ain't no way in hell a group of what is it, like 8 or 7 of them, is like a group of 7 or 8 black dudes gonna stroll into no diamond spot, rob the place, and get that far away. Like, no, I'm sorry. The police is gonna get them.
Yeah, yeah. With the First Blood reboot, remake, I was kind of intrigued, man. If it was more like the book, obviously, I'm a big fan of the Stallone version of Rambo and stuff. I'm a huge Rambo fan, but I think it would have been interesting to see that. To be honest, if he'd done it, I probably would have liked it. But again, I'd much rather see Tarantino do original content like he's always done his whole career, or an adaptation of a novel that hasn't been shown, like what Jackie Brown was. That would probably be more up my alley to do something again like that. But then again, I guess that's what this was, But maybe there are other novels out there that he's probably cherry picking and looking at, maybe. But we'll have to see. Joe, what's your thoughts on either a First Blood remake with Kurt Russell as the Colonel and Adam Driver as the Rambo character, or an all-black version of Reservoir Dogs?
An all-black version of Reservoir Dogs? Are you insane?
Yeah. Well, Quentin Tarantino's on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said
they'll be shot before they even do the walk.
That's what I motherfucking said.
No, that's a dumb idea.
Okay,
and he should know that. He's an idiot.
Well, luckily enough, it's not happening. But he did consider it.
No, he's that's stupid, and he knows that's stupid.
Right.
If he doesn't know what country he's living in, it'll be a comic book film. It'll literally be a comic book film. The only way that movie works
is if he's got 7 Luke Cages. Bullets bounce off of them.
I wouldn't believe it. And I don't think any black Americans would either. It's nonsense. But
look, the closest we got to that was Dead Presidents.
Yeah.
And anybody who's seen Dead Presidents knows how it ends.
So what about Rambo?
He needs to concentrate on doing Star Trek.
So do you want? Are you pro the QT Star Trek then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Star Trek needs a shot in the arm. Because Robert Kurtzman seems to be having lots of he's having lots of
you mean Alex Kurtzman?
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman. He's having a ball with ruining that shit. So but by the time he's finished with it, there'll be nothing to save. So it's either go. I will go Quentin Tarantino Star Trek. I don't doing a Rambo reboot, especially going with what you just. I heard the end of that part of it. What's going on in Afghanistan right now. Not a good idea.
It becomes too real, man.
I would leave that well alone. I wouldn't touch that with Quentin's.
Okay, so moving on, we have. Okay, so this was big news like 2 weeks ago, but I'd bring it up now because I think this is insane. So Trey Stone and Matt Parker are set to make 14 South Park movies for Paramount Plus in a deal that's worth $900 million. By the way, what this fails to mention is that 900 million also includes another
4 seasons.
6 seasons. Was it 6 seasons or 4?
It was multiple.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of seasons of South Park for the next coming years, basically. But 14 movies we're getting between now and 2 a year. 2 a year, by the way, and that's including this year. We're getting 2 movies this year.
There's not even 6 months left in this year.
I know, right? I know. But this is the thing. Those 2 guys have written South Park movie sequels. One became like a 2-parter. Another one became a video game. But they've got multiple movie ideas anyway, and they've said so in interviews throughout the year. So there are scripts, there's material, to be made. So but no one would greenlight it. But Paramount Plus needed content, and they were just like, yeah, 14. We'll give you 14 movies. I think this is insane. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, normally when you hear movie news, you hear like, okay, one, it's one movie, another movie, or 2, maybe 2 back to back. But 14, this is like next level insane, man. I mean, fucking hell, Matt Groening can't do this shit. But then I guess it's down.
He's done it. He's done it.
No, but 14 Simpson movies? Come on, man.
Oh no, I mean, but he's already on season 38 of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
it's the longest. He's done it. It's the longest running sitcom in American history.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like 14 movies back to
he
back.
definitely can't do it now because Simpsons is owned by Disney, so that's out the window.
So I'm just my mind was blown when I read that. I was like, I cannot believe this. This can't be real, but it is.
It's good for them, man. Because I like them. They're not. I know some people will hate me for saying this, but I feel that Seth MacFarlane is a little bit up his own arse, and when they did that episode about Family Guy, it made me chuckle, they don't take themselves too seriously, and that's what I like about them. They don't take themselves too seriously at all, and they're very similar to the guys the guy who writes Rick and Morty. Very, very, very similar in terms of how they see things, and I like people like that, and I like shows like that. Again, no offense to anyone that likes Seth MacFarlane, but it's just not for me. It's not for me.
What, you don't like Family Guy?
It's not that I don't like it. It came very. It's not for me. It's not for me.
I've always
I preferred American Dad. That felt more original because Family Guy was too close to The Simpsons for me, and I felt he was retreading things that I've seen this on another show, and so I stayed away from Family Guy. But American Dad, well done. He managed to capture. He managed to be able to do something that he could be wacky, but also have a family unit, but also do whatever else the fuck he wants through the guise of that guy and his links to the American military.
Smith.
Yes, and so I really did like. Is American Dad still on?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
it's funny because I feel like I kind of feel slightly different because I feel like Family Guy came at the perfect moment because it was like The Simpsons. I think because when I think of the television run, it was like there was the Flintstones, then there was the Jetsons, then there was the Simpsons, and the Simpsons was sort of like, we're gonna dabble in the raunchy stuff, but we're not gonna like jump headfirst in. And then South Park came along, and South Park was literally cannonball off the top diving board into the deep water of, you know what, your parents will not like us, but we're happy that they don't.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, because I feel like South Park came about, and then you had things like Jackass, and you had things like can't kill yourself and all of that. All that kind of came at a certain time, and it was like South Park was like Simpsons didn't go extreme enough. South Park went way too extreme, and then Family Guy came and sat right in the middle and was like, "We'll please you both."
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy Family Guy. Like I think you're right. It does tread the same ground as The Simpsons, but I think what I really like about it is the cutaways.
Mm-hmm.
Like where like they'll mention something and they'll cut away to it. I think those are brilliant.
Do you know what? I used to be very vocal about it when in the early 2000s, and then I saw why people liked it, and so I matured a little bit as well. And as okay, well, people like what they like. I can't. It's a popular show. I can't knock it. It doesn't help that Seth MacFarlane can be
a shade annoying.
Yeah, a little bit. Matt Groening's humble. Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They don't take themselves seriously whatsoever. That's kind of how I see myself. And I guess I embed myself a little bit more in their rhetoric as opposed to. I don't really know much about Seth other than he can sing. He's a good singer. He's a really good singer.
I think like sorry to interject, but I think the issue probably with Seth MacFarlane is of those kind of people. So you think the people behind Rick and Morty, the people behind The Simpsons, the people behind South Park, the people behind Family Guy, of that core group of people, Seth MacFarlane is like the Kevin Hart of them. He's the one who got like the most exposure because, you know, Matt Groening, he made The Simpsons and he made Family Guy. He made The Simpsons and he made Futurama. And to this day, I'm like, I've seen what he looks like, but I couldn't pick him out in a lineup.
Right, yeah. It's a regular guy. He's literally just a regular guy.
That's it. The guys who did South Park, Matt and Trey, they, like, I instantaneously remember what they look like. But it's like you say, they don't take themselves too seriously. And I remember it was really weird, but I remember them I think they're interviewed in the documentary Bowling for Columbine. And when they're interviewed, like the way that they speak, it's sort of like you might not like what they produce, but you have to respect the people that they are.
They're very smart. They understand what's going on.
That's it. You have to respect that like 1,000-fold. With Seth MacFarlane, whilst I personally like the guy and I like the stuff that he does,
I don't hate him. I'm just being
It's like, well, I'm a fan of Seth MacFarlane's work, but he does have a really kind of like he is very much exposed because he does the voices of so many different characters on his shows, and I remember they did a live show. I think they did a live show where it was him and the woman who is Meg, not Meg, sorry, who's Lois, who voices Lois, and the two of them were doing like a duet and singing a bunch of songs. And then remember he's done Ted, and he's got A Million Ways to Die in the West, and he's got the Orville. It's like he's very much kind of, in a very short space of time, he's very much like in your face.
He's a character in the Futurama as well, Seth MacFarlane. I can't remember which one, but it's one that breaks out into singing. Which makes sense.
He's very much in your face, especially compared to the other guys. I can see how that might rub people sometimes the wrong way.
I mean, it's a very select community. The animation, the adult entertainment animation community, in the sense that it's more broad. It's not really adult animation, but in the sense you've got very unique characters that come up with this stuff, and so I guess there's going to be clashes to some degree, but yeah. This was to bring it back around.
14 South Park movies, Neil. How do you feel? Two at the end of this year.
On one hand, I'm like, that seems like a lot, but at the same time, like, Matt and Trey have made South Park their life. They've made it literally their kingdom. And
it's the thing that they can always go back to. They can dip into it, go do something else, come back and.
But even with the dipping into it, I think they've made it so much of their life. They did what Robert Kirkman did with Invincible, which is they got into it and all they did was just add more and more layers to it. I mean, yes, it's South Park and it's funny and you're supposed to basically just watch it and then dip out of it.
But there are layers to it. There are a lot of layers to South Park.
There are so many layers to it. And, you know, it's sort of like... It's the kind of thing of I don't think they would have signed that deal without having at least half of it somewhere plotted out already.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that they're like, it's going to be 14 movies and 6 seasons, and they're probably like in their head, it was like, well, that's what it's going to be to you. To us, it's going to be like, you know, 7 movies and 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact they got cancelled this year. It was supposed to be for a specific episode that either Disney didn't like.
What, the show got cancelled?
Yeah, the show got.
Was it the third time that they did the mouse? Well, this time it was like, I think it was the third time when the mouse became Mecha Mouse. I think it was.
Oh no!
Because there's the episode where Mickey beats the shit out of the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
And then there's the episode where he's like pointing at everyone and he's like, "I fucking own you. I own you." And then it's like, I think is it Kyle's dad is there, and he's like, "Do I fucking own you? Who are you?"
Yeah. That's that's quite late. I think that's last season's. Who are you? I don't know this guy. Do we own him? Not yet, sir. There's someone in the background.
You know, so it's like things like that, and I was like, in the world of cancel culture, you need something like South Park to exist.
Yeah, you really do.
Because you need something like, it's like for a while, I think the Boondocks was kind of like that, but it was before cancel culture, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that got murdered as a show. So,
I mean,
we need something that still stands its ground.
Yeah.
Something vibrate. Yeah. Okay. Well. Let's move on.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Are we?
Yeah, we're done.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure. We'll save it for next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I wasn't in my best. I'm still not fully better, and when what I'm taking when it runs out, the pain comes back in a huge way. So
well, that's all right, man. You go focus on you getting better, man.
I'll be fine, man. I'll be fine. It was unexpected because I never get pains in the evening. So I'm thinking, what the fuck what is that about? Anyways, thanks for taking over, Satch, while I recuperated. All I say is thanks, guys, for this has been a kind of a makeshift episode, but thanks for joining, and I'll be a lot better next time. I'll be on my A game. And
yeah.
What is that noise?
Don't know.
Anyway,
Must be on your end. I can't hear anything.
yeah, I think it's on my end. I hope Anyway, Satch, Neil, thank you for joining me. This has been the Zedos Game Podcast. and we're out.
Peace.
Go on. Go on, do it. Come on.
I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister.